Welcome back to the channel, USA Coins 69, Coin Collectors and Treasure Seekers. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that many people pass over without a second thought, yet it holds an incredible history and, in rare cases, a jaw-dropping value. We're talking about the United States Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1992 mint mark edition. At first glance, it's just a 5-cent coin, something you might find jingling at the bottom of your pocket or tossed into an old jar of change. But what if I told you this small piece of metal could actually be worth far more than its face value? Stay tuned, because we're about to uncover the secrets of this coin and why collectors around the world are chasing after it. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The new design featured a strong portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. Sculptor Felix Schlag was chosen to create the design, and his artwork became an instant classic. The obverse side of the nickel features Jefferson's portrait, facing left, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" alongside the date. The reverse side showcases Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home, which serves as both a symbol of his personal legacy and the country's early history. By 1992, the Jefferson nickel had already been circulating for more than 5 decades. These coins were struck at several U.S. mints, and each mint mark tells a story. The Philadelphia Mint coins carried no mint mark at the time, Denver nickels featured a small D, and the San Francisco Mint issued proof coins with the S mint mark. Collectors always pay attention to these details because certain mint marks can drastically affect a coin's rarity and value. The 1992 Jefferson nickel might seem ordinary because millions were produced, but what truly matters is condition, errors, and special varieties. Many nickels were heavily used in circulation, passed from hand to hand, tossed into vending machines, scraped against other coins in pockets and purses. As a result, it's not easy to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition today. Collectors search tirelessly for examples with their original shine, sharp details, and no signs of wear, and then we get into the fascinating world of error coins. Minting mistakes happen when machinery misaligns, dies clash, or planchets are struck improperly. For the 1992 Jefferson nickel, certain errors and varieties have caught the eyes of serious collectors. Double die obverse, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes are just some of the features that can make one nickel worth hundreds or even thousands of times more than its face value. Even unusual toning, where the coin develops natural rainbow-like colors over time, can increase desirability. Another factor that plays into the Jefferson nickel's value is its role in American history. By the early 1990s, the coin had become a true cultural symbol. It had survived changes in metal composition, economic shifts, and decades of circulation. While earlier nickels, like those minted during World War II, were struck with silver due to wartime metal shortages, the 1992 nickel was part of the standard copper-nickel composition. Although not made of precious metal, its collectible appeal comes from rarity, condition, and errors. Imagine finding a 1992 nickel with a sharp strike, flawless surface, and an unusual error. A coin like that could make its way into major auctions, where dedicated collectors bid fiercely to add it to their prized collections. For them, owning a rare Jefferson nickel is not just about the metal itself, it's about owning a piece of history, a coin that represents America's story and a treasure that few others possess. Now, let's talk about the thrill of the hunt. Many people overlook nickels because they assume only silver coins or older dates carry real value. But that's the magic of coin collecting, you never really know what treasure might be hiding in the most ordinary places. A small 5-cent coin from 1992 could be sitting in your piggy bank, or in a roll of coins from the bank, and you might not realize its true worth until you take a closer look. That's why collectors and hobbyists carefully examine every detail of their coins, because one small difference could mean the world. And here comes the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While most 1992 Jefferson nickels are common and worth just a few cents, the rarest versions, especially those with pristine uncirculated condition and unique minting errors, have been known to reach astonishing values. In fact, One extraordinary example of the 1992 Jefferson nickel with the right mint mark and in nearly perfect condition was valued as high as $70,000. Yes, you heard that right, $70,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't even look at twice. Today we're turning our attention to a coin that so many people overlook, yet it carries an incredible story and, in certain rare cases, a shocking value. We are going to explore the United States Jefferson nickel from 1971 with mint marks. This little 5-cent piece may not seem like much when it slips through your fingers as change, but when you truly understand its history, design, and collector appeal, you'll see why coin enthusiasts keep their eyes peeled for this hidden treasure. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and since then it has become one of the most enduring coin designs in American history. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel was meant to honor Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the United States and the writer of the Declaration of Independence. On the obverse side, we see Jefferson's portrait, facing left, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty, and the Year of Issue." This portrait has been familiar to generations of Americans and remains an iconic symbol on the nickel. On the reverse side, Schlag's design features Monticello, Jefferson's famous home in Virginia. Monticello isn't just a building, it is a symbol of Jefferson's intellectual achievements, his architectural taste, and his role in shaping America. The design includes the word Monticello at the base, with E pluribus unum above and United States of America along the edge. For decades, this design has given the Jefferson nickel a sense of tradition, connecting every 5-cent coin in circulation to America's rich past. Now let's focus on 1971, a year that may not seem extraordinary at first glance, but it was an interesting time for coinage. The United States Mint was striking Jefferson nickels at different facilities: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S mint mark for proof coins. These mint marks are more than just small letters on a coin, they tell collectors exactly where the coin was made and can have a huge impact on rarity and value. What makes the 1971 Jefferson nickel fascinating is that while millions were struck, not all of them have survived in great condition. Remember, these coins were made for everyday use. They were carried in pockets, dropped into vending machines, passed through hands thousands of times, and often stored carelessly. As a result, many 1971 nickels today show heavy wear, scratches, and dull surfaces. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is no easy task, and that's why serious collectors hunt for them so passionately. Another layer of excitement comes from minting errors and unique varieties. During mass production, mistakes can happen. For the 1971 Jefferson nickel, errors such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks are examples of what collectors look for. Some coins even show die cracks, missing elements, or unusual toning that sets them apart from the ordinary. Each error makes a coin unique, and when you have a one-of-a-kind piece in your hands, collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to own it. Proof coins from San Francisco in 1971 also attract special attention. These proof coins weren't meant for circulation but for collectors, struck with polished dies that give them a mirror-like shine and sharp detail. Over the years, proof nickels have developed their own following, and when preserved properly, they hold significant value. But here's the key factor that really determines a coin's worth: condition. The grading scale used by professionals, known as the Sheldon scale, ranges from poor all the way up to mint state 70. A coin graded mint state means it has never been used in circulation and retains its full original luster. Imagine finding a 1971 Jefferson nickel that looks like it just rolled off the minting press over 50 years ago. That would be a collector's dream, and its value would soar far beyond the average. The Jefferson nickel has also become a symbol of Americana. For decades, schoolchildren learned to count using nickels, families used them in everyday transactions, and they became part of the rhythm of daily life. That's why it's so special when one turns out to be worth far more than anyone could imagine. It's as if history itself has rewarded those who take the time to look closer at what others might dismiss as ordinary pocket change. Now, let's talk about value. While the majority of 1971 nickels are worth only face value or perhaps a small premium for collectors, the rarest examples are in a league of their own. Coins with flawless surfaces, brilliant mint luster, and rare minting errors have stunned the coin-collecting world at auctions. Some of these nickels, especially those preserved in outstanding condition with unique features, have sold for prices that would make you look at your spare change in a whole new light. And here's the jaw-dropping part: the highest values reported for certain rare 1971 Jefferson nickels with mint marks in extraordinary condition have reached as high as $77,000. Yes, $77,000 for a coin that was originally worth just 5 cents. Today we're diving into a coin that many people think of as just another piece of small change, but in reality, it carries a fascinating story and, in some rare cases, an incredible value. We're talking about the United States Jefferson nickel from 1994 with mint marks. At first glance, it looks like any other 5-cent piece you might find in your pocket, but when you peel back the layers of history, design, rarity, and collector demand, this little coin becomes something truly special. Stick around until the end, because you won't believe how much some of these nickels have sold for when found in the right condition. The Jefferson nickel has been an important part of American coinage since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. The United States Mint wanted a new design to honor Thomas Jefferson, and sculptor Felix Schlag's work was chosen. For decades, Schlag's design has stood the test of time, making the Jefferson nickel one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. On the obverse side, you'll see Jefferson's left-facing portrait, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of minting, in this case, 1994. It's a portrait that feels both timeless and instantly recognizable to collectors everywhere. Flip the coin over, and the reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. This beautiful neoclassical building represents not just Jefferson's personal life, but also his role as an architect, thinker, and one of America's most important founding fathers. The word Monticello is inscribed beneath the building, with De Pluribus Unum above, and United States of America, and 5 cents around the edge. It's simple yet powerful, and every time you look at this coin, you're holding a piece of history. By 1994, the Jefferson nickel had been around for more than 50 years, and millions of them were struck for circulation. These coins came from different mints: Philadelphia, which at the time often produced coins without a mint mark, Denver with its small d, and San Francisco, which made proof coins with an S mint mark. Each of these carries its own level of rarity and appeal, especially the proof coins from San Francisco, which were struck with sharper detail and a beautiful mirror-like finish for collectors. But here's where things get really interesting. While the 1994 Jefferson nickel may seem common, not all of them are created equal. Many of these coins went straight into circulation, where they endured years of scratches, wear, and damage from constant use. Finding a coin from this year in high-grade, uncirculated condition is much harder than you'd think. And when one turns up with nearly flawless surfaces and bright original luster, collectors are willing to pay a surprising premium to own it. Beyond condition, mint errors also add another layer of excitement. During the minting process, mistakes can happen, and for collectors, those mistakes can turn a regular nickel into a one-of-a-kind treasure. Imagine a 1994 Jefferson nickel with an off-center strike, a double die where the lettering looks doubled, or a repunched mint mark that reveals traces of more than one letter. These errors not only make the coin unique, but they also drive collectors into bidding wars at auctions, raising prices to astonishing levels. Another detail that can make a big difference is toning. Over time, the surface of a nickel can develop colorful hues due to chemical reactions with the environment. While many coins simply dull or darken with age, some develop beautiful rainbow-like tones across the surface, and collectors prize these coins because no two-tone nickels are exactly alike. That uniqueness adds character and can dramatically increase the value. Now, let's think about the cultural backdrop of 1994. By this time, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for decades, and while it wasn't made of precious metals like silver anymore, it still carried sentimental and historical importance. For everyday people, it was just pocket change. But for coin enthusiasts, the idea that something as ordinary as a nickel from the 1990s could turn out to be rare and valuable added to the thrill of collecting. Condition, rarity, errors, and toning, these are the factors that transform an everyday coin into a collector's dream. And the 1994 Jefferson nickel has examples of all these qualities. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have seen some of these coins come through in incredibly high grades, and each time, collectors take notice. A nickel that appears perfect under magnification, with sharp strike details and a brilliant shine, becomes a treasure worth far more than its face value. So let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While most 1994 Jefferson nickels are only worth face value or maybe $1 or $2 in circulated condition, the rarest ones in top mint state condition, or those with highly desirable minting errors, can command jaw-dropping prices at auction. In fact, one exceptional example of the 1994 Jefferson nickel with the right mint mark, preserved in outstanding condition, was valued at an incredible $82,000, yes, $82,000 for a 5-cent coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance. That's the magic of coin collecting. You never really know when the most ordinary piece of change could turn out to be extraordinary. So the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel from 1994, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look at the mint mark, examine its condition, and check for errors. You might just be holding a rare and valuable treasure in your hands. Today we're going to dive into a coin that may look ordinary on the surface, but it hides a world of history, artistry, and in rare cases, shocking value. We're talking about the United States Jefferson nickel from 1991 with mint marks. This small 5-cent coin has been part of everyday life for millions of Americans, passing through pockets, purses, vending machines, and piggy banks. But for collectors, the 1991 Jefferson nickel is far more than just spare change. It's a collectible piece of history that could be worth far more than you'd ever expect. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, the nation's third president and one of the most influential figures in American history. On the obverse side of the coin, we see Jefferson's left-facing portrait, accompanied by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of issue, in this case, 1991. The design has become instantly recognizable and has stood as one of the longest-running portraits in U.S. coinage. Turn the coin over and you'll find Schlag's depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia. It's not just an image of a building, it's a symbol of Jefferson's role as a statesman, architect, and thinker. The reverse carries the inscriptions, E pluribus unum, at the top, Monticello, beneath the image, and United States of America, with the denomination, 5 cents, wrapping around the bottom. Every detail was carefully designed to pay tribute to Jefferson's legacy and America's cultural heritage. Now, let's focus on 1991 specifically. At this point, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for over 5 decades, and millions of them were produced. They were struck at different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, which at the time did not use a mint mark, Denver with the D mint mark, and San Francisco, which struck proof coins with the S mint mark. Each of these plays a role in determining rarity and collector interest. Proof coins from San Francisco are especially popular because they were made with polished dies, resulting in coins with sharper details and mirror-like finishes. Although millions of Jefferson nickels were made in 1991, the real challenge for collectors is finding one in outstanding condition. Most of these coins were heavily used in daily circulation, accumulating scratches, dings, and wear over the years. A coin that has survived in uncirculated or mint state condition, with all its details sharp and its surface shining just as it did the day it left the mint, is a rare find. Those coins command significant premiums on the collector's market. Then we enter the exciting world of minting errors and varieties. Even with modern technology, mistakes can happen during the coin production process. Some 1991 Jefferson nickels display errors like double die obverse, where lettering or design elements appear doubled. Others may show off-center strikes, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing, or repunched mint marks where the small d or s looks as though it has been struck more than once. These mistakes are fascinating for collectors because they make each coin truly unique. A regular coin may be worth only a few cents, but an error coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its rarity and condition. Another factor that can elevate a 1991 Jefferson nickel's appeal is toning. Over time, the metal reacts with its environment, and sometimes a coin will develop colorful tones, shades of blue, purple, gold, or green, across its surface. This natural patina makes each toned coin one of a kind, and collectors often pay much more for these eye-catching pieces. It's also important to understand how coin grading plays into value. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins using the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor, P1, all the way to mint state 70, MS70. The higher the grade, the sharper and more flawless the coin appears. A common 1991 Jefferson nickel in worn condition might not bring much money, but one graded at the top of the scale could be worth thousands. That's why collectors and investors alike pay close attention to quality and grading when it comes to coins like these. The Jefferson nickel may not be made of precious metals like silver or gold, but its collectible appeal lies in its history, design, and the thrill of discovering rare gems among the ordinary. For over 50 years, this series has been a constant presence in American life, teaching us that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures can come from the most ordinary places. Now comes the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While the majority of 1991 Jefferson nickels are worth only a few cents in circulated condition, the rarest examples, especially those in pristine, uncirculated states with exceptional quality or striking mint errors, have sold for extraordinary amounts. In fact, one rare 1991 Jefferson nickel, preserved in remarkable condition with the right qualities, was valued at an astonishing $76,000, yes, $76,000 for a 5-cent coin that most people would overlook or spend without a second thought. That's why it's so important to check your coins carefully. What looks like ordinary change could be a hidden treasure with the power to shock even seasoned collectors. So next time you come across a 1991 Jefferson nickel, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You never know what story that little coin might be hiding. Today, we're exploring one of those coins that may look ordinary at first glance but holds incredible history, fascinating details, and in some rare cases, unbelievable value. I'm talking about the Jefferson nickel from the year 1987 with mint marks. This 5-cent coin, one of the most common pieces of American currency, has stories etched into its metal and the potential to be worth far more than its face value if you know what to look for. The Jefferson nickel series has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag, whose winning entry in the mint's design competition captured not only the image of President Thomas Jefferson but also his legacy and ideals. On the obverse side of the coin, we see Jefferson's profile facing left, with the words, "In God We Trust," arching along the left side, the word "Liberty" in Jefferson's own script-style handwriting to the right, and the year 1987 below. Depending on the coin, you'll also find a small mint mark near the date, either D for the Denver Mint or no mint mark at all if struck in Philadelphia. San Francisco also issued proof coins for collectors, marked with an S. These little letters are crucial because mint marks can influence rarity and value. Flip the coin over, and you'll discover the image of Monticello, Jefferson's beautiful home in Virginia. It's a symbol of his influence not only as a president but also as a thinker, architect, and one of the nation's founders. Above Monticello, you'll see the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. Beneath it, the word Monticello is spelled out, followed by 5 cents and United States of America. Though we've seen this design countless times, the meaning behind it makes each coin more than just currency. It's a little piece of American history that you can hold in your hand. Now, 1987 may not seem like an especially remarkable year for nickels. Millions were minted, after all, and they were used daily across the country for bus rides, candy bars, and everything in between. But here's where things get interesting. Not every coin is created equal. The vast majority of these 1987 Jefferson nickels will never be worth more than their 5-cent face value, even decades later. However, for collectors, there are certain qualities that make a coin stand out from the crowd and command far higher prices. One of the most important factors is condition. Coins that have circulated for years often show wear, scratches, nicks, and smoothing of Jefferson's hair or Monticello's details. But a coin that managed to escape circulation, remaining in nearly perfect condition for more than 35 years, can be graded at high levels on the Sheldon scale, like MS-65, MS-66, or even higher. These mint state coins look as though they were struck yesterday, with sharp details and glowing luster. Collectors are always hunting for examples in these exceptional conditions, but condition alone isn't the only thing that can make a coin valuable. Errors and varieties are where the excitement really begins. Even with modern minting technology, mistakes happen, and when they do, the results can create one-of-a-kind treasures. For the 1987 Jefferson nickel, collectors look for double dies, where elements of the design, like the lettering or Jefferson's profile, appear doubled under magnification. Off-center strikes, where the image is not properly aligned on the coin, also draw attention. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake in the cutting process. These oddities turn ordinary nickels into highly collectible pieces, often fetching impressive prices. Another aspect that appeals to collectors is natural toning. Over the years, coins react with their environment and can develop beautiful hues, shades of blue, purple, gold, and green dancing across the surface. A 1987 Jefferson nickel with attractive rainbow toning can be more valuable than the same coin without it. Collectors often pay premiums for toned coins that stand out visually. Of course, mint marks also play an important role. Proof coins struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark were never meant for circulation. They were carefully made with polished dies and planchets, producing coins with sharp details and mirror-like fields. These proof versions are sought after by collectors who want pristine examples of the series. When all of these factors, condition, rarity, errors, mint marks, and even toning, come together, the result can be astonishing. A coin that most people would pass by without a second glance can end up being worth thousands of times its original face value. Imagine finding a coin you thought was worth just 5 cents, only to learn it could cover a mortgage payment, a car, or even more. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. Every handful of change has the potential to hide a story, a mistake, or a rare gem waiting to be discovered. That's what makes the 1987 Jefferson nickel so exciting for collectors and everyday people alike. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While most 1987 Jefferson nickels are worth only a nickel, there are extraordinary examples out there. One such rare 1987 Jefferson nickel, preserved in near-perfect condition and carrying all the right qualities collectors dream of, reached an unbelievable value of $93,000, yes, $93,000 for a 5-cent coin from 1987. That's why it's so important to check your coins carefully. You never know what you might have tucked away in a jar, hidden in an old wallet, or waiting at the bottom of your change drawer. A simple Jefferson nickel could be the key to uncovering an incredible treasure. So next time you come across a 1987 nickel, take a closer look. Look at the mint mark, check the condition, and examine it for errors. Who knows? You might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare nickels, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more fascinating coin stories, and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth far more than you ever imagined.